Welcome back, beloved soul. Today we arrive at the final pillar, a truth forged not in moments of triumph, but in the quiet seasons of endurance. Perseverance is the unseen strength that carries us when inspiration fades, when applause grows silent, and when the path stretches farther than we expected. It is the slow courage of staying faithful in the shadows, and the grace of continuing even when no one sees. In this final story, we step onto a quiet track at dusk, where a young runner wrestles not with failure, but with meaning. And in his struggle, we discover what Scripture has always known, that transformation unfolds over time through steady, patient, steadfast faith. So settle your breath, steady your heart, and let this closing pillar speak to the deeper places within you. This is the story of perseverance, the strength proven in seasons.
The sun hung low over the hills of Judea, casting amber light across the long dirt track where the festival races had ended hours before. The crowds had gone. The banners that had marked the course now hung limp against their wooden posts, and the dust stirred by dozens of running feet had long since settled back to earth. Only one figure remained. Eliab, a young Hebrew man with a lean runner's build and a simple earth-tone tunic, stood at the far end of the track, where the starting line had been drawn in the dirt that morning. His chest still rose and fell from his last run, not for the festival, but for himself. A practice run, an unwitnessed effort. He had not won this morning. Now, as the golden hour deepened into shadow, Eliab stared down the length of the empty track and felt the weight of a question he could not shake. Does any of this matter when no one is watching? He had trained for months, rising before the sun, running when his legs ached and his lungs burned, eating carefully, resting deliberately. In the silence, the trial felt heavier than the race itself. Eliab crouched down and picked up a handful of dust, letting it sift through his fingers. He thought of the runners who had won, how the crowds had lifted their names like hymns, how their families had embraced them at the finish line. He had watched from the edges, catching his breath, invisible. Do not grow weary, something inside him whispered. But the weariness was not in his legs. It was in his spirit. You're still here, Eliab turned. Benaiah, an older Hebrew mentor with a weathered face and a dark robe that brushed the ground as he moved. His presence was steady, unhurried. He had the kind of warmth that did not need words to be felt. Eliab rose to his feet. I couldn't leave yet, he admitted quietly. I don't know why. He said nothing for a long moment, letting the silence hold space between them. Then, gently, you ran well this morning. Eliab exhaled slowly. It's hard to see the point when no one remembers. Benaiah nodded, as if he had heard this question many times before. He lowered himself to sit on the edge of a stone marker, his hands resting on his knees. Eliab, he said softly, a race is not measured by its applause, and a life is not measured by a single season. The younger man turned to look at him. The test is in what you do when you return home, when no crowd watches, when no banner flies, when goodness becomes quiet. The world loves a spectacle, but God sees the runner who trains in the dark. He paused, his eyes catching the fading light. There is a great cloud of witnesses, Eliab, far larger than any festival crowd, the faithful who came before you, the ones who ran without trophies, who endured without fame. They watch, and they know that endurance is not born in a single race. It is forged over years. Eliab felt something loosen in his chest. Benaiah smiled, a quiet expression lined with years of his own unseen faithfulness. Consider your trials as gifts, not because they feel good, but because they are forming something in you that ease never could. Steadfastness, maturity, completion. And if I grow weary? Eliab asked. Benaiah placed a hand on his shoulder. Then you rest, and then you rise. For in due season you will reap if you do not give up. The light had nearly gone now. The sky above the Judean hills had turned the color of ripe figs, and a single star had appeared above the horizon. Eliab looked once more at the track, now barely visible in the dusk, and something shifted within him. Not a burst of sudden confidence, not an erasure of his weariness, just stillness. He knelt and touched the earth one more time. Then he rose, turned, and began the quiet walk home. Not because he had found the applause he longed for, and he was learning slowly, faithfully, that transformation is not proven in moments, but in seasons of steady faithfulness. In our own time, we are taught to measure our lives by what is seen, the metrics, the milestones, the visible victories. We scroll past lives that appear fully formed, fully celebrated, fully arrived. And in the silence of our own long roads, we wonder, does what I'm doing even matter? Does anyone see? The unseen faithfulness, the prayer offered when no one hears, the kindness extended when no one notices, the discipline practiced when no result appears. These are the quiet materials from which enduring character is built. Do not grow weary. The finish line is not where you think it is, and the one who watches sees everything. And so, you have walked through all 9 pillars, each one a stone laid on the path of becoming who you were made to be. In self-discipline, you learned that freedom begins with governing the self, not the world. That true liberty rises not from casting off limits, but from choosing the right ones willingly. In integrity, you discovered that alignment, not performance, is what makes a life trustworthy. That the soul divided against itself cannot stand, but the soul made whole becomes an anchor for others. In responsibility, you embrace the truth that maturity comes when you carry what is yours to carry. Not the burden of the world, but the weight you were designed to bear. In respect, you saw that honoring others does not require self-erasure, but clarity of dignity. That every person you meet carries the image of the divine, and to see them rightly is itself an act of worship. In compassion, you understood that mercy must walk hand in hand with wisdom, or it becomes harm. That loving well sometimes means loving with boundaries, with patience, and with truth. In humility, you learned that humility is not shrinking, but openness to correction and truth. That the teachable heart is the one that continues to grow long after pride has stalled. In justice, you recognize that justice is not sentiment, but the shared structure that protects all. In courage, you saw that courage is quiet faithfulness, speaking truth without aggression. That the brave are not those who shout the loudest, but those who remain standing when the noise has faded. And in perseverance, you discovered that transformation is not proven in moments, but in seasons of steady faithfulness. These are the pillars, not rules to obey, but realities to embody, not weights to crush you, but foundations to hold you. You have now walked the path of the 9 pillars, from inner governance to relational ethics to the courage and endurance that shape a life. These pillars have built the framework of character. Now, a new journey begins, one that is deeper, quieter, more intimate. Not the life you build, but the life within you, the hidden self, the self God sees, the self beneath the noise, the self waiting to awaken. And the evening fell gently over the hills, and the runner walked home by starlight, faithful, weary, and becoming.
Beloved soul, as we close this journey together, I want to speak to you heart to heart. You've just walked through the pillars of character, 9 foundations that shape a steady, courageous, and deeply rooted life. And as this chapter settles gently behind us, a new doorway is already open before you. Now that we've entered this new season, I want to share something special with you, a new series called Illumined Pearls. These are short, contemplative spiritual stories, usually 5 to 7 minutes, sometimes a little longer, crafted to meet you in the small but defining moments of your day. Each pearl is a moment of clarity, a single story you can settle into, breathe through, and carry with you. Not rushed, not overwhelming, just a quiet invitation to grow, reflect, and return to yourself. Some of these stories will speak to healing, others to discernment, some to courage, or to recognizing old patterns, or to remembering who God is shaping you to be. But all of them will shine light on the deeper journey, the journey of your hidden self, the sacred inner life beneath the noise. So, as this series comes to a close, I invite you to remain close, to keep walking with me, and to receive these illumined pearls as gentle companions for your spiritual growth. They are created with love and with you in mind. Thank you for walking the pillars with me. Your faithfulness, your presence, your willingness to grow, they matter more than you know. And now, may this next stretch of your journey be filled with light, wisdom, and the quiet courage to become. I'll meet you inside the pearls,